Welcome back, everybody. From pediatric patients to high school athletes and even the Saints and the Pelicans, they all can suffer injuries. Well, many of them head to Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute. And today we're learning more about their services and what a day looks like in the Sports Institute. Joining me now is sports medicine specialist, Dr. Andrew Gottschalk. Hello, my good sir.
Hi, Malik. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate you and all the work you do. I'm so interested about your field, right? Talk to me a little bit more about what you do and the services that you offer at the Institute.
Malik, it's interesting because a lot of people don't really know what sports physicians do. In the United States, there are sports physicians and sports surgeons. So sports physicians, like myself, treat every aspect of an athlete. So yes, that's bones and joints, and yes, that's sprains and strains, but it's everything else too. How does being an athlete affect the heart? How does it affect the lungs or the kidneys or any other aspect of things that can go right or things that can go wrong? So the application of medicine to the athlete.
So what are some of the conditions that you all focus on at the Institute?
So anything you can think of, and like you said, oftentimes it's injury, but oftentimes it's anything else too. So yes, we need to know how to treat a hamstring strain. Yes, we need to know how to treat a foot bone fracture, but we also need to know how to treat high blood pressure in an athlete, or an athlete who has asthma, or an athlete who has anything else that might go right or wrong, and just the application of how physical activity and being an athlete applies to the human body.
And do you work with just athletes, or do you also work with people who get a sports-related injury but not necessarily plays a sport?
Malik, that's a great question.
Thank
because
you.
At the heart of it is, what is an athlete? Anybody who moves. Yes, I see New Orleans Pelicans players, and yes, I see New Orleans Saints players, but the truth is, anybody who gets out there and moves and wants to be active is an athlete to me, so I care about that. You said pediatric athletes to start. Yes, we take care of middle school teams and high school teams. We take care of NAIA schools. We take care of Dillard and Xavier athletes, and all the way on up to professional athletes, but anybody who wants to move, we see and take care of. And that's people who have just retired, and they come in and they say, hey, I lived a hard life working my career, but now I want to be more active and get stuff more done. So it's people of any age, any activity level, any type of sport, any level of sport we take care of. Sometimes that's an injury. They come in and say, Dr. Gottschalk, hey, hurt myself. Hey, get me through this. Sometimes that's preventing injury. Hey, I want to be more active. How do I do that safely?
And it's so important because I feel like, we've talked about sports-related injuries here on the show, and I find that a big reason why there are injuries and people re-injure themselves is because of a lack of education. Would you agree?
I completely agree, Malik, because education is the best medicine. Education is the best medicine. So what I want people to come to me and say, hey, how do I do this safely? How do I do this better? Maybe you're a professional basketball player. Maybe you're a middle school kid. Maybe you are a 60, 70, 80-year-old man or woman who just wants more activity in his or her life. I want it to be safe. And I think sometimes you can be safe, you can use an injury and coming out of an injury to educate as to how to prevent that in the future. Sometimes you can get to them even before the injury and educate as to how not to get injured in the future.
And I want to congratulate you all on that education piece because, in 2022, everybody, they actually partnered with Dr. Andrews. He's actually the namesake of the Sports Institute. Talk to me about how that partnership has been going and some of the work that you all have done.
Malik, that's fundamental because on one hand, you have Ochsner Health. Ochsner Health is the hottest, most dynamic name in American medicine in the Gulf South right now. And on the other hand, you have James Andrews, who's a big name in sports medicine. And if your viewers don't know who he is, he's the guy who reconstructed Drew Brees' shoulder back in 2006.
Oh, really?
So back in 2006, when they were wondering if Drew Brees would ever go on to play again or be any good at it, James Andrews put that shoulder back together in a way that the New Orleans Saints said, we should take a chance on that guy and put him there and have faith in Jim Andrews and in what he did. And that brought a future Hall of Famer to the city. That brought a Super Bowl to the city.
Amazing.
So you take Ochsner Health and you take James Andrews and you merge them together in this partnership, and great things come of that. And part of that is educational opportunities, because one thing that I like about this partnership is that it's very humble. James Andrews will not be around for forever. Andrew Gottschalk will not be around for forever. How do we educate the next generation? And how do we educate people who are going to practice sports medicine now and on into the future, and keep things healthy and safe for athletes as time goes on. And one way we do that is by having conferences like this one in April.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. I love it. It's called the Injuries in Football Conference, something like that. The
Yes.
Injuries in Football Conference. I was right.
IIF, it's a big if, yeah.
It's a big if. Hilarious. Talk to me about this.
So this conference is where the Andrews Institute and Ochsner Health and our sports program bring in professionals from all around the country to come in and meet here in New Orleans and collaborate and educate and teach ourselves, teach each other, because which physician knows everything? None of us do. So we're learning from each other all the time, and we bring in the next generation to come in and learn. And who is that? Is that the sports physicians? Yes. Is that sports surgeons? Yes. Sports physical therapists? Sports athletic trainers? Coaches? Yes. Anybody who wants to be involved in the health and safety of the athlete. It's not just one group of people. It's all of us working together and learning from one another, and that's what this conference is all about.
Come on, Dr. Andrew and Dr. Andrews. Okay, thank you so much for being here, my good sir.
Malik,
and look,
thanks for
everybody,
having us.
the Injuries in Football Conference is happening here in New Orleans from April 18th through the 20th. For more information and to register, log on to the website on your screen right there. And for more information about the services provided at Ochsner Andrews Sports Medicine Institute, log on to ochsner.org. We'll be right back, everybody.